What's up, YouTube? Ryan Panny here. Hope you guys are doing reasonably well. It is finally time for a review of the new In Flames record, I the Mask, out 2 months ago now, March 1st. Finally getting this fucker out. I'm sorry for the delay, guys. You know, there's kind of a blessing that comes from low expectations. I think the lead up to this new In Flames record best exemplifies that. In Flames is a band who, in the mid to late 90s, made several of the most important albums in extreme metal history. That's not an exaggeration. And yet here we are, it's 2019, it's 20 years after that run, and depending on who you ask, we're now looking at about a decade and a half of subpar albums. Obviously it's all taste, and there's plenty of people who defend these recent In Flames record, but there's nobody on the planet who's saying that Siren Charms is better than Just a Race. There's just nobody arguing that. An objective decline in quality is very difficult to refute. And yet, here I am, alongside many of you, 10 years plus now of these disappointments, and I haven't given up on them yet. There's just something about them that keeps me coming back. I don't know if it's intrigue, or it's some sort of misguided loyalty, or it's this contrarian desire to want to like this new In Flames shit that everyone else hates, or probably it's some combination of all three, but I haven't given up on them yet. And because, in particular, 2014's Siren Charms was so disastrous, and then the follow-up Battles, which I actually reviewed on this channel, wasn't so great either, In Flames comes along, teases me with a couple of genuinely heavy singles for this record, and that's all it takes for my optimism to completely re-spark. That's what I mean by the blessing of low expectations. All it takes is like a couple of heavy riffs in the singles, and all of a sudden I'm psyched for this new In Flames record. And I was so thrilled at this idea that with I the Mask, In Flames could just grab these low expectations by the balls and make a killer, legitimately heavy old school record. But then again, producer Howard Benson, who in my opinion just ruins metal bands, see my All That Remains Madness review for one example of that. He's behind the boards again for this one, so my nerves are still there. They could easily fuck this up. All that being said, one thing that I the Mask undeniably has is a strong start. Like, this record comes out the gate swinging with a rapid succession of tracks that significantly surpass the band's last few years of music. Seriously. Voices, the opener in particular, is outstanding. It's got this irresistibly catchy, syncopated riff that drives the verses, and then transitions into the chorus, which miraculously is a melodic chorus that doesn't derail the song's excitement, but actually pushes the energy forward, which for the type of music that In Flames has been making recently is nothing short of a miracle. The title cut, which comes next, I also have a lot of praise for. We got the old school melodic death metal style riffing in this track. Production-wise, the double kick drum sounds fucking fantastic and adds a lot of power and urgency to this track that really propels it forward. We do get into the problem here with this song of big dumb rock chorus surrounded by actual metal song, which when you play overtly commercial metal like In Flames does, you run the risk of that happening. And there are several tracks on this record where the choruses feel just very copy and pasted in. Like I'm Above is another such example. And look, I like both these tracks here. I'm Above in particular, I can't help but have an affinity for, because the chord progression in the song is just so mid-2000s new wave American heavy metal, so I can't really help but like it. But still, these really abrupt shifts in mood from slamming heavy groove to big sugary rock chorus, they make the music feel calculated and inauthentic. Which, look, that doesn't necessarily equate to bad, but still, this sequence of tracks up front is definitely a strong start. Track 3, Call My Name, is another favorite of mine. Huge dramatic hook. You got a trademark harmonized guitar solo in there. You got this pre-verse riff that ascends that I think is really fun, really interesting. I can confidently say that all these songs are of an objectively higher quality than Siren Charms and Battles. Production, riffs, vocals, everything. So couldn't be happier for them on that front just with this opening row of tracks alone. And the album reaches an exceptional high point with the Come Clarity-esque ballad Follow Me, which this track really is a direct descendant of the Come Clarity title track. In this track, I love the thoughtful acoustic guitar paired with the studio-generated ambiance, which just gives the band a nice, serene platform to then launch out of into this just giant, arms outstretched kind of chorus. It's really powerful. This is my favorite In Flames song, probably of the last decade. I'm sorry to say, though, that this mid-album high point is precisely where the album loses momentum. Because after Follow Me, you have 3 straight duds. And on a 12-track album, 3 straight clunkers in a row, right in the fucking middle, right in the heart of the record, that's devastating. and the album never fully recovers. This Is Our House, which is actually a single, is by far the most egregious offender. Everything about this track, oh god, you got the corny chant vocals, you have like literally Breaking Benjamin style riffing, super whiny chorus that finds Anders arguably outside of his range. Ugh. We Will Remember too, the very next cut. Just more butt rock, more pandering elements that are totally out of character and out of alignment with what was going on in the first 4 or 5 tracks in the album. We've completely lost cohesion at this point, even if you do like these tracks. Not a fan of the sluggish In This Life either. It's got a real droopy energy to it, and when you put it back to back with We Will Remember, the album very quickly starts to feel lifeless and devoid of all that crackling energy that Voices and the title track had really catapulted at the beginning of the record. It is a quick fall from grace, let me tell you. The song Burn is definitely a strong pick-me-up after this little valley here, but you definitely get the sense that some irreversible damage has been done. Then the song Deep Inside has this blatant Arch Enemy riff that I love, but again, going back to my point about the choruses, what the fuck is this song's chorus doing in this song? It feels so fucking out of place. And why does the bridge to this song, if you're following along at the 2:25 mark, why does the bridge to this song sound like it's supposed to be in a pop punk song? What is it doing here? I'm just confused at this point. The band really do not sound cohesive. Also, a note production-wise, and this applied to Battles too, I'm continuing to not fully grasp what the hell these little electronic flourishes are doing here that pop in and out of these tracks. Songs like We Will Remember and In This Life before that final key change, I'm just not sure what these little electronic add-ons are supposed to contribute to these songs. When these moments pop up, it doesn't feel like an expansion of the band's sound as much as it feels like an embellishment, as if they're trying to take something that's not interesting and make it slightly more interesting. And I hate feeling that as a listener, like there are elements being thrown in to spice something up that needs spicing up. It's one thing if like a composed keyboard line or an industrial influence or a Pro Tools orchestra were genuinely part of these songs' core arrangements, but that's just not the case. These electronic elements are just these insignificant, non-essential add-ons that serve to annoy me and make me feel like something unexciting or bland is being covered up. And look, I could keep poking holes in this album, the lead guitar tone being another annoyance of mine, but the truth is here, at least by recent In Flames standards, this album is good. We send things off here with a nice pair of genuinely emotional ballad type tracks, Stay With Me in particular being excellent. And when all is said and done, you stand back, we're left with a listenable body of work overall. But like I said, that uninspiring middle section is devastating because now as a listener, as I'm attacking this album, I'm already thinking about how I have to navigate around that little, it's like if I'm swimming and I'm constantly thinking about, oh, I gotta go around this little sandbar here in the middle. And that is what prevents this album from getting sequential play for me. It doesn't earn great album status as much as it just yields some playlist-worthy tracks. There's a big difference there. That's the difference between a decent to good album and a good to great album. But again, congratulations are in order here because In Flames are undoubtedly on the up and up with Eye the Mask. An improvement over Battles for sure, a massive improvement over Siren Charms. It's just not quite enough for my general level of cynicism to get lifted. I'm still gonna go into album number 14 in a couple years here with that same skepticism and that same trepidation, unfortunately. But I'm still low-key happy for them that they were able to pull off at least some level of what probably every listener knows they're capable of. Eye the Mask gets a 6 out of 10 for me. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and are not yet subscribed, please consider doing so by clicking right over here, as well as checking out any of the other rock or metal related content that I publish on a regular basis. Really appreciate you watching, commenting, liking, supporting. Twitter, Instagram handle @RyanPannyMusic. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon.